first down. Fires wide. Juan Daniels, touchdown, Georgia.
This is your favorite receiver, Juan Daniels, and you're listening to the DGD Podcast with my man, Robert Reynolds. Go Dogs!
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing? Welcome to the DGD Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Daniels. As you guys know, Robert is taking a little bit of a break, but hey, the DGD Podcast is going to keep rolling on. So thank you guys so much for jumping in, listening. I'm looking forward to your feedback. We're going to talk a little bit about the SEC championship recap. We'll talk a little bit about the Orange Bowl matchup, and then we'll talk a little bit of Georgia high school football. So, but before we get into all that, let me give a shout out to La Terrain and all of you guys that know that Robert has definitely given a great shout out to these guys. These watches are awesome. Just go to www.laterrain.com. Use the code DGD for a discount for their awesome and amazing watches. So, hey, let's just jump into it. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and make this thing happen. All right. So, first and foremost, one of the things that I want to do is I want to get into the good and the bad and the ugly, actually, when it comes to the game that just took place. So hold on one second. This is my first time doing this. I'm trying to get back to the screen here. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. So we're going to get into the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to touch on, just recap the game a little bit, and hit me up in the chat, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Love to hear what you guys have to say, and then we can just kind of talk about it. So one of the things that you guys can do is you can actually you can give me your good and bad and ugly, and I'll just kind of look at that as well too. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Tell your friends, just kind of spread the word, and let's just make this a big time thing, right? All right, because we're all big time Georgia fans, and we've got a lot of great things to talk about. So first and foremost, let's just talk about the good, right? So there were a lot of positives actually when you come to it. So first and foremost, we did score 24 points. And so when you're actually looking at it, 24 points, based off of each and every game that Georgia's played, that was plenty to be a championship, to win each and every game, right? So we did score 24 points. Alabama's a good team, so you just can't take away from what Alabama has done all season. One of the things that I talked about in our last podcast is I did say that Georgia's offense actually plays in the hands of Alabama's defense. Alabama has struggled historically against that spread offense with four receivers, an athletic quarterback, and that's not necessarily what we do. So it actually played into the hands of Alabama. The other thing is just our receiving core. Our receiving core did a great job. Brock Bowers, 10 catches for 139 yards. We also had a sighting from George Pickens. So George Pickens had a pass down the sidelines, made a great adjustment over two guys. That was awesome. And then of course we had McConkey, who did a great job of spreading the field. And you had Burton with a couple of catches. And so there were some positives when it actually came offensively. And then the other good too is again. Just how we started. We started off great, 10-0. And usually, when Georgia plays 10-0, pretty much means the game is over. And, unfortunately, that did not, hold that long, right? But, I see here that, we also had somebody that says Brock Bowers is definitely a part of the good. Also, somebody said, happy birthday to me. How you knew? I have no idea, but thank you. I appreciate it. Today is my birthday. So thank you for that. So here's my bad. My bad was our running game. Our running game was not very good. You take a look, and Bryce Young actually outrushed our top running back. So Bryce Young had 40 yards rushing. And, Alabama's top running back had 55 yards rushing, but our top running back had around 38 yards rushing. And that's just not going to get it. That's just not going to cut it. And I also know, hey, these are the things that we do. We rotate our backs. We shuffle them in and out. We have different schemes when we're running in our 12, 13 personnel. But one of the things we're going to have to start doing is allowing a running back to get hot. And I felt like we gave up on the run too early, and also felt like we gave up on Kenny McIntosh a little bit too early. Kenny McIntosh, he was averaging 8 yards a carry. So he had four carries, but he's averaging 8 yards a carry. So why not continue to allow him to run the ball behind those big tight ends, Fitzpatrick, and you got Darnell, and then of course Brock Bowers, who actually did a lot of multiple things for us. That's one of the things that we're going to have to really just kind of start doing as we prepare for our game against Michigan, and then hopefully when we have that national championship game, is don't give up on the run so easy. And then our ugly was the defense. We didn't have any pressure up front. We were trying to rush our four, and I get it. Historically against the Arkansas and against the other teams this year, we've had plenty of pressure with our front to where we didn't have to send any additional backers or just get any additional pressure. But once we saw that we were not getting any additional pressure on Bryce Young, that should have been a key to, hey, maybe we should probably send 5, maybe 6 guys. And then also don't send them directly up the middle, also do some on the outside. It was kind of disappointing because if you look at the Auburn game, if you look at the Texas A&M game and all these other teams that gave Alabama and Bryce Young so much pressure, they gave us a blueprint on what we needed to do. And I get it. Our defense has played excellent all year. And, you believe and you trust in your defense. But at some point in time, when you've got a guy that's sitting in the backfield directing receivers where to go, and then once he does that, throws a touchdown pass, that's kind of a problem. And so that'll be something that, needs to be addressed a little bit earlier the next time that we face him, because I do believe that we're going to face him again. The other thing, we did not account for Bryce Young and his running ability. And, we didn't necessarily have a spy on him. And I get it. He has not run very much this year. He likes to sit in the pocket. He likes to throw. He'll try to sit in the pocket as long as he can until he's forced out. But he did a little bit more running this game, and that was tough. The other thing, too, is, we just haven't done very – I don't think that we've done a very good job of the complete scouting of the quarterback, or actually who we're actually looking at. Because, again, think about the times that, we're playing Alabama, we're beating them or we're ahead, and then all of a sudden they bring in another quarterback and we're just not prepared. And so we were not prepared for Tua. The next year Tua goes out. We were not prepared for Jalen Hurts, who we prepared for the time before. This time we were not prepared for Bryce Young and him running the ball. We did not expect it. We did not account for it, and we did not plan for it. Also, too, our secondary, they got exposed. And I knew going into that game that Alabama was going to do that. They were going to go after our secondary. And the first team that exposed them was Tennessee. Tennessee exposed them. They threw a lot of deep passes. You get some pass interference calls, or you either get beat deep. Kentucky did the same thing. And so I kind of knew that was going to happen, when it actually came to our secondary. So there's some things that we need to shore up. There's some things that we actually need to get better. But once we do, I think that we're going to be fine. When it actually comes to a rematch, and I'm skipping over Michigan. I know I've told you I'm going to talk about Michigan. I'm definitely going to do that in that matchup in the Orange Bowl. But in a perfect world, we get to that next matchup. There's nothing to be discouraged about. You go back to 2017, and Auburn beat us pretty good. We just came out flat. We go back and play Auburn in the SEC championship, and actually just blew the doors off of them. And so the good thing is we've got Alabama on tape. We can actually see the problems and the issues, and Kirby's going to do a great job of adjusting. Lanning's going to do a great job of adjusting. And I almost have to ask too, was it a situation where Lanning was a little bit distracted? He's getting courted by Oklahoma, just kind of like Brent Venables was, and there's no telling who else is actually reaching out to Lanning. So the defense just kind of had a little bit of a setback. You could actually see Jordan. He was a little bit tired. They kind of ran that fast pace. They were just running, just that fast paced offense. And then there was a couple of series, a couple of drives that he was not even out there on the field. So, those are some things that we're going to get squared away. We're going to get shored up. We're going to be in shape. And you look at Georgia as a whole, we're going to have a couple of weeks to prepare for a pretty good Michigan team. But you're going to get some guys healthy. You're going to get George Pickens. He's going to start to get better. He had a pretty good showing in the SEC championship. We just didn't throw him the ball a lot. Another thing too that just a little bit out of characteristic when it comes to Georgia, Stetson Bennett threw the ball 48 times. And so anytime that you're throwing the ball, you got a Georgia team that's, been focusing on running and really just kind of controlling the tempo. For him to throw 48 times, that's a lot. I don't think he's thrown the ball more than 22 times in the games that we've played so far. So that'll be something too. Again, we've got to establish the run. We have to establish the line of scrimmage and, give the ball to the hot hand. Kenny McIntosh was the hot hand then. Let's just continue to churn him out. So that's that. It's over with. I've already had my week to digest that terrible, terrible loss, that terrible pill. It was very hard to swallow. But right now we're focusing on the future, and that's going to be against Michigan. I'll tell you what, I have yet to see a team that is evenly matched with Georgia than I would with Michigan here. So you could actually just take a look at some of these stats here that I have. So points per game, you've got Georgia 39.4, Michigan 37.7. Points allowed, Georgia's 9.5, and then Michigan is 16.1. So these are, just a couple of things that, you could just take a look at and see from a comparison standpoint that both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. And when you look at, we'll just break it down here, especially from quarterback play. So if you look at, from a quarterback standpoint, both of them are completing 64% of their passes. And so if you look at, Stetson versus Cade McNamara, these guys right here are pretty much, your game managers. They're not going to be blowing the doors off of the, when it comes, to passing, right? Obviously you have that anomaly where, you have Stetson throwing the ball 48 times. You have Bryce Young. He actually threw it more than Bryce Young. Bryce Young, I believe, was 26 of 44. Stetson Bennett, 29 of 48. So neither one of these guys, Cade McNamara or Bennett, they're not going to be the ones that are going to be throwing the ball. They're going to rely on their run game. And then the other thing that they're going to do is rely on their stout defense, and they're just basically just managing the game to, just to keep it manageable, keep it close. But you can see here, McNamara has thrown for 2,400 yards, Stetson Bennett 2,300 yards, and Bennett's thrown 24 touchdowns with 7 interceptions. McNamara 15 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. So when you actually look from a quarterback standpoint, it's pretty much a wash, right? So it's just going to be a matter of what are we going to do to, control the line of scrimmage. Also, too, what are we going to do to, just get the ball out, down the field? We cannot, and I repeat, we cannot turn the ball over, and we cannot force things or get into a situation where we're having to throw the ball 48 times. I mean, that we just absolutely cannot do that. So from a running back standpoint, it's again, just kind of evenly matched. You have, Hassan, Haskins, and then Blake Corum, and so what they've done is, Haskins has a little bit under 1,300 yards rushing. And then Corum is 61 yards away from being a 1,000-yard receiver. And then that's going to be versus, Zamir White is our top guy, 718 yards. James Cook is 619 yards. But our backs are a little bit more explosive. And so that's where we, just kind of have a little bit of the edge. But Michigan's rushing, they're 9th in America with 228 yards per game on the ground. Georgia's 28th with 195 yards per game. And so a lot of that too is, I would have to wonder as a Georgia fan and just a big time offensive guy, I love offense, is what would those numbers look like if you just, again, let somebody just run who has the hot hand and just keep running them until the wheels fall off, if I'm being honest. But so I do think that we do have the edge when it comes to rushing. So 195 yards per game rushing in the SEC, I think is pretty dang good. Not to take away anything from the Big Ten, but I would say defensively, I think that the SEC is a little bit tougher when it actually comes to defense. So the fact that we were able to have 195 yards per game is actually pretty good. And then you take a look at the receivers, right? So receiving wise, we've got Brock Bowers, we have McConkey, we also have George Pickens, Kearis Jackson, Jermaine Burton, A.D. Mitchell, and Darnell Washington. So we do have a stable of receivers that can actually go out there and play and do some great things. And if you actually go back and look at that game against Alabama, Stetson Bennett did do a great job of spreading the ball around. I mean, he threw it to probably about 8-9 different people, and that's also including the backside of the backfield that if you're Michigan, you're Michigan's defense, you're going to have to account for James Cook coming out of the backfield or Zamir White or those backs too. So when it actually comes to receivers for Michigan, they have Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson, Eric All, Dalen Baldwin, and then also Andrell Anthony. So if you look at it, we have the better receiving core of the bunch. So I think that we're going to have a little bit of an edge with that. Michigan does have their share of wideouts, but they don't have like a Bowers or a Pickens. And so Pickens, again, will have at least 2 additional weeks to be top-notch shape. He's been inserted in the game and he's actually made his presence felt. You give him 2 more additional weeks of training, healing, and I think that he's going to be absolutely top-notch. So that'll be something that's going to be exciting to look forward to. And then, of course, you're going to have your defense, right? So both of them are ranked in the top 25 as far as defense. Georgia's 3rd in the nation. So they're actually top 5. And then you have Michigan that's 22 in the nation. So, when you actually look at that, obviously Georgia's going to have the upside when it actually comes to defense. One of the things that is going to help us is the fact that Michigan's offense plays into the hands of Georgia's defense. And that's a great thing that we have. And I think that we're going to have a huge edge. I do see this being a very, very low scoring game. When we get, a little bit closer to the Orange Bowl, we'll definitely come out there with predictions. I do know a couple of Michigan people, so if I have an opportunity, I'm going to try to get them on here so that we can just have like a little friendly debate. But I think that'll be awesome. So I do think that right now, as things stand, we do have a little bit of an edge when it actually comes to Michigan. Not to say again that the Big Ten is weak or down. However, the SEC has done a great job this year. And so for us to have and post these numbers against these great teams and then also have the record that we have, I think it's going to be great. Also, too, Michigan is going to be dealing with a really, really angry Georgia Bulldog team. And they're mad. They are they got embarrassed. They really did. And so, what is the thing that you do when you go out and you get embarrassed is you come back stronger, stronger than ever. You just get, to a point to where you're just like, hey, we're going to go out there and we're going to take back what is ours. They're going to reclaim that top dog status. And that's just something that they definitely want to do. I'm sitting here. Joel Sanders says, happy birthday to Juan. He's old. Thank you very much. Thank you for for making me feel terrible, but I am old. I do have the gray in the beard and I also have the gray in the eyebrows. So I actually need to have somebody work on my eyebrows and maybe do that just for my beard. So I don't look as old as I do. But But yeah, so getting back to that's going to be a top matchup. Again, I do think that Georgia will be has the edge right now. It's leaning between a 7-point spread, and then there's also that 18 point spread. So I'm looking here. Jermaine King, what's up, my man? How you doing? Says the fans are divided. They're upset after the Bama loss, but the team is focused and ready to destroy Michigan. And I feel you 100%. I mean, that is definitely something that they're going to be angry. It's going to be tough. But I think in the trenches, our defense, they're going to step up. And Michigan, this is a team that struggled against a Michigan State team, although they came out and they did do a great job of hammering Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. They actually they're hot. I mean, that for them to get over the hump and beat Ohio State, that was just something that, hey man, they've been looking to do something like that for a very, very long time. I think a lot of pressure was on Jim Harbaugh, so he had to step up and do something big in order to get himself off the hot seat. But you go right off of the hot seat into the frying pan against a really, really angry Georgia team, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be good. And Jermaine, you're right. We're going to get revenge for Mel Tucker. Yeah, Mel Tucker. They took an L against. They took an L against Michigan. But I tell you what, Mel Tucker's done a great job at Michigan State. He just got a brand new contract, got a brand new deal. We actually have a guy here that at Buford that has committed. His name is Malik Spencer. He actually committed to Michigan State. So it'll be interesting to see how they do and how they progress in the future. But right now, it's going to be an awesome game. When it actually comes to Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan and Georgia. I think another thing that it's going to be an advantage for us is the fact that I think our fans travel very, very well. I actually know several people who have already got their tickets. I know I have a good friend, a coworker, she's actually surprising her kids with Orange Bowl tickets, and so they're already planning for Orange Bowl. They've already got their VRBO. I think is it or VBRO? I think it's VBRO. I don't say it very much. So, but they already have. VRBO, Vacation Rentals by Owner. There you go. But they already have that set up for Indianapolis too. So they're thinking big, but it's also one of those things too that if it doesn't work out, that they're going to be able to get their refund. But we have a faithful Georgia fan base. We do, we can be thankful for that. I think we're going to travel well. I think that we're going to represent the Georgia Bulldogs big time, and I think that it's going to be something to look forward to. I think the Georgia fans are going to be very surprised and very happy with how Georgia's going to come out, right? So we're going to have to start strong. We're going to have to start strong, just kind of like we did, how we did against Alabama, but continue to build on that, and then take a lot of pressure off of our defense, right? And I think that we're going to stand up and we're going to be strong. So definitely looking forward to that. Also too, when we do have that Michigan Georgia preview and really just kind of get into the X's and O's of it, would definitely love to have Robert here so that we can really just get into it and break it down. So, Robert, I know you're out there, dude. We miss you, dude. Obviously praying for you. Can't wait to get you back here, hanging out and going back and forth where, you and I are talking, just a good time. And so, and of course, not only do we have the best fan base, but we also have the best brigade, man. The brigade is always hopping and always just giving us some great insight. Jermaine, if you don't mind too, you may have jumped on a little bit later, but we'd love to know what your good, bad, and the ugly for the game is. And then of course, what your thoughts are. You already told us that we're going to go and beat up on Michigan. So we're, definitely looking forward to that. So, Jay, what's going on, man? What's going on? Hey, Robert, he's just taking a little bit of a break, but he'll definitely be back. and looking forward to him getting back. And then again, too, Jay, give me your good, bad, and the ugly with the with the Georgia Alabama, the SEC championship. We've all had a little bit of time to detox from that, and then also too, just kind of let me know what your thoughts are going to be, with that Michigan game, and the excitement there. Also too, I just think that if I'm looking at that other side, I'm looking at that Alabama and Cincinnati game. I think Cincinnati will be able to score points. Again, that spread look with an athletic quarterback, it usually gives Alabama some trouble. But at the end of the day, it's Cincinnati. Nothing against nothing against the Group of Five schools. They just don't have the depth and the of the SEC, and it's unfortunate they matched up against Alabama. But it's going to be a little bit tough for them. Another thing too, before I jump into a little bit of the high school game is we've had a lot of talk about our quarterbacks and our quarterback situation, and so even going back into that last game, you have a lot of people saying that if Stetson played, it may have been a different story, or what's going on with Stetson, and So, a couple of things I've heard. First and foremost is that, Stetson is not, doing very well at practice. They just said that he's more of a gamer, more so than he is like a guy that's at practice. But again, these are just kind of rumors. Do have some inside sources that just kind of talk about, But then they also said too that that JT Daniels is not feeling like he is cleared to play. He's been cleared to play, but he doesn't feel like he is ready to play and does not want to do anything to kind of injure himself anymore. So again, not really sure what is going on or what's happening. But again, you've got a premium quarterback that you're not using for a reason. And not really necessarily sure what that is, but I do feel like that Kirby's a good enough coach to where, there's a reason he's not playing him, and you never want to sacrifice your season or put yourself in a bad situation by not playing your best guys, and so it's unfortunate. However, if those rumors are true, if there's something that's going on, we really, really need to get that squared away, get that fixed, because I think a lot of the Georgia fans would like to see JT Daniels become the starter and play big time. So I'm looking here. Jermaine said the good, the bad, the ugly. The good went to Brock Bowers. Yeah, he went into beast mode. Yeah, he did 10 catches, 139 yards. Let's go. Bad. Our lack of pass rush. Yeah, it was bad. And the ugly was our secondary. Not very good, man. It just was not very good. And then of course, let's see. Jay Sipes said Kirby didn't play Bama. That was a scrimmage. To be honest, never saw Kirby so relaxed, never upset. He knew Bama was getting in regardless of after Oklahoma State lost. So that was, that could definitely be something. And it was basically a glorified scrimmage. And that's kind of what you want to look at. You got a lot of film that you could look at, a lot of film study that you could just to take a look at and say, hey guys, we can fix these things. These are things that we can overcome and we can fix. Unfortunately, last year we didn't have that. We didn't have that luxury, right? We got beat by Florida. We got beat by Alabama, but we didn't have an opportunity to play them again. So let's see here. Also, it just says Kirby's playing chess, not checkers. And it says JD wasn't gassed. He just took a day off because Kirby told him to. So I don't know. There's a lot of theories, a lot of things that are going on. But Jay also said we showed them nothing. We got them right where we want them. If that was a case where we were just being very vanilla, just having a situation where we just wanted to get some things on film, or just kind of have a plan, I would totally be down for that. If that was one of those things that I could, believe, heck yeah, I'd be down for that. Because our defense just did not show up. They just didn't show up. And I know that we played defense better than that. We faced athletic quarterbacks. Levy was an athletic quarterback at Kentucky. Jefferson, an athletic quarterback at Arkansas. The most athletic was probably going to be Jones over at Florida. So we've faced those guys, right? And I think that their lines were superior to Alabama's. We just didn't play our best, for whatever reason it was. We just didn't play our best. But you can best believe that there's going to be a different Georgia team coming out against Michigan. I think that Georgia's they're going to push their weight around. And to be honest with you, I really think that Michigan would have rather have seen Alabama than they would have to see us. So that'll be, that'll be something that's interesting. So I'm kind of looking forward to what Georgia's going to do, how they're going to come out and play. The other thing too that I'm kind of tired of hearing is they'll say that, Georgia hadn't really played anybody. And if you actually look at all the teams that we played a lot of teams that Alabama played, right? And these are teams that, Alabama struggled with. Look at they beat Auburn by 2 points in a 2-point conversion overtime game, right? They beat Florida by 2 points. And they have done, all these games are very, very close. And these are teams that Georgia just completely blew out. So if you're either saying that the number one team right now, Alabama, is just not very good because they had close games against these teams that Georgia blew out, that's probably, or you can have your argument that, that Georgia hadn't played anybody, but you can't have both, right? You just can't have both. So I like Georgia's resume as far as the teams that they've played, because again, they played a lot of the same teams that Alabama's played, but they also blew them out. Had a little bit of a setback, but you know what? Alabama's a good team, and Alabama, even though they may not be as high powered, especially defensively, they're still Alabama, and Alabama had to come back to win a game against Auburn on a last drive. It's the same team that they were getting beat by Texas A&M by 14 points. And then they came back and then they took the lead and then ended up losing at the end. So Alabama is a pretty dang good football team. And they played the same exact teams that we've played, but we've just, we matched up and we beat them worse. So, that's one of the things that the things I'm kind of sick of hearing, but you know what, the stats don't lie, right? Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So Jermaine King says, we'll have Kendall back for the Orange Bowl. Do you think that do you think we go run heavy against Michigan? I would. I would, just to go run heavy against, but we've got the backs, we've got we've got the line that can, I think that can push Michigan around. And whether it be Kendall, whether it be Zamir, whether it be James Cook, stick with one guy for, maybe 2 series instead of, letting him run the ball and then have him jog out. And then the next guy run the ball and have him jog out after a first down. Stick with one guy and let him just go to work and just to see what that's going to get you. Let's see here. Jay Seif said UGA brought more than 4 to pressure Bryce 14 times, 12 resulted in tackles for a loss, QB hurries, incomplete passes. We have a game plan to beat Bama. Yeah, we absolutely do. And again, this is going to be one of those things. I think Lanning is going to look at and study hard that Auburn film. He's going to study hard the Texas A&M film to basically see what they're going to be able to do to pressure, right? Because Texas A&M sacked Bryce for 4 times and got, I think, seven quarterback hurries and pressures. Auburn sacked him 7 times. I mean, and just kind of bullied him, man. Just kind of pushed him around. So, that was just something that was, something that was big and kind of helped us out. Let's see here. Jermaine King says, be right back. Going to get more people in here. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's get that brigade. Let's get it fired. Let's get it going, man. So just kind of looking forward to that. So, but right now, I just want to touch a little bit on some high school football here in Georgia, right? So, we definitely want to keep a lot of these teams here in Georgia. But you've got tonight, you have Langston Hughes They're playing the Buford Wolves. So that's one that's kind of close to my heart because my son plays for the Buford Wolves. He's one of the quarterbacks on the Buford Wolves team. We're playing a good Langston Hughes team, and I believe their left tackle, I don't know what his name is right offhand, but I think that he has committed to Georgia. So if that's the case, that's going to be a good game. So that game is going to be tonight at 7, and that's going to be on GPTV. You have Cedar Grove. They play tomorrow at noon. So Cedar Grove has a Georgia commit, and then I think that they're also trying to get another one of their big-time Georgia players. So they play Carver, Atlanta tomorrow at noon. And then another big game is going to be the Milton Eagles versus the Collins Hill Eagles. And so Sam Horn, who is a Missouri commit for quarterback, and you have Travis Hunter, who is a Florida State commit that is playing receiver for them. Now, what's interesting is Kirby Smart has been going by and watching these Collins Hill football games, and Travis Hunter has been going to a lot of the Georgia football game. I think we've seen him at 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kirby at that state championship game tomorrow and being a presence on the field trying to flip Travis Hunter, because I think that would be a huge pickup. An absolute huge pickup if we could flip Travis Hunter. Florida State's in a little bit of disarray right now. So that's going to be one of those situations that are, would be absolutely amazing. So to have the Nylon and then also to have Travis Hunter become receivers, twins, right? That'd be some, 2 twin receivers right there, just absolutely just tearing up the field, for Georgia. I think that would absolutely be amazing. So those are just a couple of the games right there that are going to be going on. So if you have an opportunity, check those out. And you never know, there's going to be some, maybe some future UGA commits that are going to be on there for Buford. You have KJ Bolden, who has been receiving offers from everywhere. And I believe that Kirby actually came in there and talked to him this past week. Up at Buford High School. So keep an eye out for that game. You just never know who you're going to be, who's going to be there. But that would be absolutely awesome to have, a lot of these guys in this state championship to stay at home at Georgia. Kirby's doing a great job recruiting, and we don't want these top-notch guys to just to leave the state. So let's see here. Jay Shipes, as far as Kirby's QB controversy, 2 theories. One, Kirby wants all the credit for doing it his way. Didn't want some Cali 5-star coming in there and getting all the credit. That is definitely, that's definitely one theory. Because if you go back to Jake Fromm and you go back to, I'm actually Justin Fields, right? You go back to Jake Fromm and Justin Fields. That was one of those unique situations where you were like, okay, you've got an unbelievable guy. He's a Georgia guy. I mean, both of them were Georgia guys, but you got an unbelievable guy. I'm actually just drawing a blank. So you had Fromm. I can't even think of his name right now. But anyways, you allow him to leave and go to Ohio State. And but word had it is that Justin Fields really, really struggled with the playbook. And so there's a lot of things that he was missing. And obviously, too, if you go and you have a freshman come in, you have an extensive playbook, which Georgia has, you're not going to be able to come in there and start right away and just think that, you're going to be able to take over. So that was kind of tough. Jermaine King, you said it absolutely. We had Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason, unfortunately, ended up getting hurt. Jake Fromm comes in and never, ever gives the job back up. And you have Eason that goes and transfers to Washington, and then he becomes a top pick in the draft, versus the guy that you decided to keep. And it's kind of mind-boggling because in both of these situations, you decided to keep a 6th-round quarterback versus having I think he was 6. I don't remember where Fromm went. He may have gone 6th, 7th, or maybe even free agent. But you decide to keep that guy, and then you basically give up 2 first-round guys, and you allow him to leave. So imagine if you have Jacob Eason for that national championship, or the next year if you have Jacob Eason for that, for that SEC championship that next year, things might have been good. There you go. He was a 5th round draft pick. Johnny Bailey says Jacob Eason was not accurate with the ball, and that is true. I think that maybe a little bit more quarterback development would have definitely helped him out to be successful, because he did, and that was one of the things that that Washington did, is they went up there and they made sure that they developed him in order for him to be able to get drafted as high as he is. Says, Fromm is starting this Sunday, and Jacob Eason is not. So so it'll be interesting. I do root for Fromm. I root for all Georgia guys. I definitely want them to be, I definitely want them to do well. But again, you've got this whole situation in which, what are we doing with our quarterbacks? We've got to, we've got to do better. Jermaine King says, I will say that it is impressive that Eason, Fromm, and Fields are now NFL quarterbacks. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool, because when you think about Georgia, you don't necessarily think about them as having a lot of quarterbacks that are in the NFL, right? So you go back to, Matthew Stafford was probably the biggest name that we have right now. We've had some pretty good quarterbacks. We've had, Murray, we've had, David Green, we've had some other good guys. DJ Shockley was another one. But you don't necessarily think of a high-powered, big-time quarterback coming out of Georgia. So to have 3 of them in the NFL, that'll be starting, and then of course you go back to, we'll have 4 with Matthew Stafford. That's a pretty good thing. So maybe the tide is changing right now for Georgia quarterbacks. But we definitely have to take advantage. We've got some good, some pretty good guys in the coming up. We've got Brock Vandergriff. We also have Carson Beck. And then, of course, we've got some guys coming in. And I tell you what'll be, something that's going to change the way that Kirby does quarterbacking is if we get Manning. If we get Arch Manning, I can promise you right now that this big-time run-heavy 60, 70, 30, 60, 40 running the ball, it's going to absolutely change, because you cannot have that much of a talented guy not pass the ball and not spread the ball around. So that'll be, something that we'll be looking forward to as the time comes. So, hey guys, I enjoyed hanging out with you guys today. I'm going to go for, and we'll go do a little bit of question and answer real quick. But other than that, man, I enjoyed it. This podcast is amazing. The Brigade is amazing. Robert is amazing. And our Georgia Bulldogs are amazing. And our Georgia Bulldogs, we will redeem ourselves. We're going to be holding that national championship. And I said, let's see. Jermaine said, wait. Yeah, I don't mind waiting. That's cool. But we've got a lot of great things that are coming down. We've got some great recruits that are coming in. I'm really, really excited about Oscar Delp to add to that receiving group. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are a receiver and you are going to Georgia, you have a lot of things to be excited about. So that'll be something that we're going to be able to look forward to. You've got a lot of great quarterbacks in the pipeline, a lot of great receivers that are coming in there. Looking forward to Denylon getting up there. And so, hey, and one of the things that I love about what's happening this year is just how steady Georgia's been. We've got a lot of coaching changes. We have a lot of guys flipping, a lot of guys that are taking place. Hey, I tell you what, it's going to be exciting. Hey, non-Georgia football related, it's the end of the season, so tell Hadley, hey, from me, I definitely will. And for those of you guys don't know, she did win a state volleyball state championship, which is cool. So she is a back-to-back state champion. And so, what a great situation if my son's playing in the state championship tonight on my birthday, so that's a pretty cool thing. So if he can have an opportunity to win a third state championship, that mother-son, back-to-back state championships, that would actually be kind of cool. So looking forward to that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to jump over here into the question and answer for a few minutes, and then I'm going to be, heading out. But hey, I'm so excited for what we've got coming up with that Georgia game. I'm so excited for the brigade. I'm so excited for this podcast to grow and for us to reach a lot of people, man. It's going to be super duper exciting. So that's it. Hey, go Dogs. And, just like Robert said, there's no way that we cannot end our podcast with this.
I still remember like yesterday walking out of this pitch at the half. The look and the feeling I had, looking at Tyson, looking at Stokes, looking at those guys. You know what, guys? This is our fucking year. This is our fucking year. We do it by how we play. It's 0 to fucking 0, and you make them never want to play again. All that shit they're talking, I love it, Jamar. You didn't say shit. You don't say shit to them. You just laugh and point at the scoreboard. Let me get a picture, JD, pointing at the fucking scoreboard. Don't say shit to their undisciplined ass, because we are disciplined. And our ass still don't take the fucking shit out of them. Physically, I want to break them. I'm talking about fucking break these bitches on defense and offense. Let's go, defense.
Man, oh man. Oh man, I'm seriously so excited to play right now. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That was it seriously makes me want to go grab my uniform and helmet. I don't even care if it's one of those plastic helmets. I'd play in a leather helmet right now after hearing something like that. So let's see here. Break them. That's what I'm talking about, Jermaine. So Jermaine said, we just have to get some 5-star receivers to believe in the team and then just commit to the G. You're absolutely right. And I think that the tide is turning. I think we're evolving, right? So think about it. If you go back to Alabama, at one point in time, they were just heavy run, heavy run, right? And the thought of being a quarterback at Alabama, who would want to do it, right? You go back to the Jay Barkers, you go back to the McElroys and those guys. Hey, just hand the ball off and just rely on your defense. But to think that you would have 3 Alabama quarterbacks right now, starting or playing in the NFL was definitely unheard of, because it was basically just a run the ball, and all we're known is for our, just for our running back and our great defense, right? Now you've got the likes of the Ruggs, and these guys that are in the NFL, the Jerry Judys, these guys that decided, hey, we want to change the culture. We want to go and we got the quarterback. We've got the guys that are going to do it. You got, Devontae Adams. If you would have bet me $50, $100 million, billion, $1,000 that you would have a guy that would be a receiver to win a Heisman Trophy at Alabama, I would have taken that bet all day. Absolutely all day. And that's what you have. So I say that to say that I believe that Kirby is starting to transition and go that way, where we're actually starting to get these big time receivers, right? So, and he's doing a great job with the tight ends. I mean, again, so even if you have a tight end that's leaving now, guess what? You've got another guy, Oscar Delp, coming in there. So we're finding ways to pass the ball and then just to get the ball down the field. But all we really, really need is we just need a guy that's going to go out there and stretch the field and just be completely dominant, right? Like you do with what we have now. But if we had 2 or 3, think about it. When LSU won their national championship, they had 3 dog receivers. When Alabama won their national championship, they had 3 dog receivers. Before Ohio State got thumped by Michigan, you look at it, they have 3 dog receivers, those 5-star guys that Jermaine's talking about, that just completely are a defensive nightmare. And then now you're able to run the ball and do whatever you want to do. So Jermaine, you're right. As soon as we get those 5-star guys that's going to believe, I just think that I think we'll be great. What's up, Patrick Oliver? Hey, man, you're never late, man. As long as you jump on, man, we're excited to have you, man. Jermaine, do you think that we, can do enough adjusting to defeat Alabama if there's a rematch? Go Cincinnati. Absolutely. I think, if I'm being honest, I think there was just a little bit of a lapse on Georgia's, behalf as far as defense is concerned. Our defense is far superior over Auburn, over Texas A&M. And these guys absolutely just destroyed and just dominated Alabama's offensive line, right? So I think that we'll definitely do some adjusting there. I just think that we need to, make sure that we get, more pressure on Bryce Young. I think that we'll do that. And, in our secondary, we just gotta get better. We just gotta bow up, man up, and I think we'll do that. I think offensively, just stick to the run, man. I think we gave up on the run too easily. I just think that we can, hey, just go up there and line up, get our 3 tight ends, man, and just pound the ball. And there's got to be a hot guy, right? There's got to be a hot guy, where I was just talking, earlier that, was Kenny McIntosh. Kenny McIntosh was the hot guy, man. Just keep giving him the ball. You're averaging 8 yards a carry. I'll take that all day. Let's see. Can we mention another show in here? Heck yeah, man. Another host and had a theory about Kirby. Shoot, yeah, man. Heck yeah, we can, man. Absolutely. This is, let Robert tell it, man. This is a show for the people, man. We just, we're all Georgia fans at the end of the day, man. We're all Georgia fans at the end of the day. We all, have our thoughts and feelings about certain things, man. So, absolutely. We want a hurricane full of information and all this kind of stuff that, that we can just, garner in and then just kind of use it and then just go and just, tell other people about it. So yeah, absolutely, Jermaine. Would love to hear it. Let's see here. And then Jermaine King said elbow call for Patrick being late. Yeah, Patrick, you probably need to do a couple of laps around the office, man, just to kind of make up for being a little bit late. So, yes, sir. So, yeah, again, any more questions while we're waiting on Jermaine? He's got a theory here, but are there any more questions? Shout out to DGD Podcast for hopping on, man, listening. Dude, that's awesome. Let's see, 63-3 on the laps. Yeah, absolutely. So Patrick is he's my score predictor, so I can't wait until I can predict the score, for that Georgia Michigan game, but I'll definitely wait to hear what he has to say. And sadly for our predictions, for me and Robert and everybody else, we were grossly off. Mine was 17-14 Georgia, but I was grossly off, and I'd like to apologize to the brigade for being that far off. That was bad. But I tell you what, I just think that when we do have the rematch, and I know that we are, that we're gonna come out and we're gonna dominate. It's gonna be a completely different situation, and it's happened. I mean, think about it. Let's go back to 1996. I know I'm dating myself, but I was actually a senior in college. It was a long time ago. But 1996, the last game of the season for Florida State, right? Florida State beats Florida for that last game of the season, right? Florida then goes to the national championship and beat the absolute brakes off of Florida State for that national championship. That was with Danny Werfel was the quarterback. I believe Cannell was the quarterback for Florida State. But I tell you what, Florida State, after beating Florida, man, they were just talking all kinds of mess, and that was something they probably shouldn't have done. But yeah, that was bad. Let's see here. Brooks Austin, the film guy, thinks that our Bama problem is because we don't prepare for them the entire season. We play Kirby ball all season, and then we throw it 40 times against Bama. You're 100% right, man, because guess what? That happened last year. We threw over 40 passes against Bama last year. And, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this, hey, this one game at a time, let's just focus on our opponent, from the jump. I really don't, because you can prepare for a team down the road by what you're doing against the Vanderbilts, what you're doing against these other teams that are inferior, the UABs. You can prepare for Alabama in situations like that, even if they're not running the same scheme defensively, if they're not running the same offense. But there are certain things, certain defenses, certain packages, certain personnel groupings that you can get into, right, to see how they work, to see how they match up against these other teams, and do what you can to prepare for Alabama. And I'm sorry, if I'm playing UAB, I'm going to be practicing and doing my scout team for Alabama. If I'm playing Vanderbilt, I'm doing my scout team for Alabama. If I'm playing Georgia Tech, I'm doing my scout team for Alabama to prepare. So Brooks Austin, you are absolutely right. And Jermaine, you're right. He thinks that if Kirby, doesn't trust Stetson to throw the ball 40 times, then how are we going to be successful doing that against Bama? You're right. Against Kentucky. You're right. So, and this is one of those things too, is instead of just taking off the gas, these fourth quarters, whatever, you work on things, right? You work on things, you work on people getting better. Anytime that you're playing against a Georgia Tech team, and we're looking up there in the third quarter or fourth quarter, and you don't have, your Carson Becks or your JT Daniels in there, and you're not working on things as if it were the first and second drive, how do you really expect to get better? How do you really expect for these things to work? Let's see here. My way too early prediction against Michigan is 35-17 dogs. You heard it here first. My man. I'm pretty sure that by that time comes, I'm gonna probably have the same thing. I may have Michigan probably around maybe 10, maybe 7 or 10, but I definitely agree with that 35. I just think that we're just going to overwhelm them at certain points in time. Here's the other thing too that just kind of hurt our defense. If we're going back to that Alabama game, too many 3 and outs, man. That's just too many 3 and outs or too many short drives. That defense doesn't get a rest, and at some point in time, that defense is going to break. And I say that to say that against Michigan, offensively, I just don't think that they have the horses to sustain drives or to score points. So I see that being a situation where at some point in time, Michigan's going to break, and then we're just gonna run all over them. Let's see here. Jermaine says, I like that score. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Dog's going to be hungry to come out of the Orange Bowl. All I want to do is eat. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That they're going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, you talk about a chip on their shoulder. And it is, it's like losing a fight to your big brother. Right now, unfortunately, Alabama's the big brother, right? They have been pushing people around. They're the bullies. We lost that first one. But I tell you what, I'm loogoing forward to that comeback, and I think that's going to be it's going to be big time. And I think that we're going to beat Michigan, have some time to just to kind of heal, get right, and then just go right back at Alabama. Alabama's going to have a lot to deal with. You're going to have Pickens, you're going to have all these guys that are going to be back. They're going to be it's going to be our time. It really is. Oh man, Patrick, you said it best, right? We're the same team that we've been all year, except for they're going to be pissed off. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And it would be poetic to finally beat Bama for the national championship. And I don't want to just beat Bama. Like, I don't want to just, 23-20 or something like that. Like I want it to be in just where they're just absolutely obliterated. And then, then they're going to have to look forward to playing us next year. And then the year after that, and then the year after that until, Alabama just kind of falls off. And then, the Georgia's basically going to be on the scene, taking it over, because the recruits that we have, the Georgia faithful, everything it's going. Georgia right now is on the up and up. And I can see that being a situation where we're going to completely just take over and dominate. So, yes, you're absolutely right. We want to physically break them. So, hey guys, thanks, for hanging out, man. I'm looking forward to, again, our next podcast. This is just a great place to be. The grade is awesome, man. Looking forward to growing this, looking forward to, chopping it up with Robert, man. You guys have been just absolutely, amazing. So I'm signing off for the day, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm excited about this high school football. I'm excited about next Wednesday, December 15th. That's going to be early signing day. So I'm looking to see what Georgia's going to do as far as reaping in all of those amazing recruits. My son is going to, he'll be signing with Stanford. So good. Yeah, you're right, Jermaine, that we should definitely have a recruiting show, right? Just to kind of talk about it. So that may be something that we can do December 16th, just to get on there, just to talk about, the early recruits, and then what that's going to mean to Georgia and what it's going to mean to their future. So, hey man, I enjoyed it. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. We'll set up a show probably for the 16th to talk about that. Would love to hear you guys' input. I want the brigade to be big time, man. I want you guys to really give me your thoughts on who you wanted, who we didn't get, who we still have an opportunity to get, because there's going to be another signing day in February, who we need to go after. So, man, I'm telling you what, this is going to be awesome. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jermaine, for the good luck. Y'all have a great weekend. Looking forward to talking to you guys next week, man. And go Dogs.